Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore from Film Threat. Happy holiday weekend to you. Today on the show, Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. Plus, a whole bunch of other films that we're going to review. It is a cavalcade of cinema today. DogMan, the new film from Luc Besson, plus Spaceman with Adam Sandler is on Netflix. A documentary called Carol Doda, Topless at the Condor. A film by Bob Byington, starring David Krumholtz, recently of Oppenheimer, called Lousy Carter. In the Land of Saints and Sinners. So much other stuff to discuss, including all Godzilla movies ranked and a very special Easter weekend treat. We're going to talk to filmmaker Diane Foster about her film Easter, Bloody Easter. What's it about? You'll soon find out. And Alan Ng is here. He's waiting in the wings. Where is he? Let's get things kicked off. Let's get things started on a holiday weekend. Thank you for tuning in to us on a Friday. Let's go. What the heck is going on? I don't think we need 3 or 4 pictures for every movie. Just a note. We don't need 3 or 4 photos for every movie. Probably like 1 or 2, especially if it's a small indie movie. What? Okay, and also
we were instructed 3. That's
okay. Alan.
Yep.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many mediocre movies this week.
Hey, don't bury the lead there, Alan. Just get right to it. You saw a lot of bad movies. We'll soon find out. Yeah, it's gonna be. This is weird. We're gonna have to look for gems, for diamonds in the rough, and I may have a few. Not everything I saw this week was terrible. In fact, one film I really love, I can't wait to talk about, and a preview of another one that we're all looking forward to. Can't wait for that. But before we get started, let's see who is here. First of all, I want to thank our new members. Krizik, thank you for becoming a member. Join us on Discord. There'll be a fresh Discord link. Always on Fridays, we have that fresh link. So join us there. In addition, exclusive member videos, including a Q&A from the movie Lousy Carter and several videos featuring Sydney Sweeney. I'm not stalking her or anything. I'm just fortunate to live in a city where she just sort of gets car service over to do a Q&A.
And these are not fake videos. These are actually her on stage.
Yeah. It's not like putting her head on my body on a thumbnail for a video. That would be criminal.
That would be a disservice to Sydney Sweeney.
Yes, we don't want to do that.
And then I also put the Q&A for Sasquatch Sunset. So it's with
did you?
Yeah, so Jesse Eisenberg and the Zellner brothers are.
Okay, I have not seen that movie, but I know the work of the Zellner brothers. They're filmmakers from Texas, and I am so looking forward to this movie.
Yeah, I think you're going to love this movie.
Oh, I can't wait. Dark Sith 87 member for 17 months. That is commitment. Thank you so much. Hello, Chris and Alan. Saw My Yesterday, a Vietnamese movie. Really good. Alan will feel overly represented.
Yeah. AMC, to their credit, they're showing a lot of international films, a lot of Vietnamese, Chinese, Indian, diversity galore.
Yeah. Let's see. Jimmy Francis says, didn't know Besson had a new film out. He was nice enough to sign my DVD copy of Leon for me. Oh, Leon the Professional with Jean Reno and Natalie Portman. Really great film. Yeah, no, Luc Besson has a weird career of some amazing stuff and some not so great stuff. But he has a new film out called DogMan, opens this weekend. Razorburn says, explain the shirt. This is, put me full screen here for a second. This is, of course, Minya. This is Minya. If you know who Minya is, what?
Yeah,
That's my... What? Did I do that right? He sort of puffs some smoke rings.
Ah,
It's the son of Godzilla.
yes,
okay?
I know. I had to watch that one.
I love that movie. I mean, I love it because I saw it when I was a kid, and I had
No, I saw it as an adult.
Krizik for 5 says already was a member. Chris just upgraded my membership. Thank you, Krizik.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that. That's awesome. And that's a movie we should put on our list for sure. We've got some comments that have come in early about Godzilla X Kong. We're going to save those for after we discuss the film. So I'm not ignoring you, just so you know. But I do want to say hi to Davina Duckworth, says happy Easter. Hey, it's an excuse to eat chocolate eggs.
And ham.
What's that?
Chocolate eggs and ham.
Chocolate eggs, ham, and my personal favorite. This is good. Maybe I'm weird. I love Jordan almonds. Jordan almonds have this like hard shell candy coating. It's basically just sugar. And what I like to do is I'll put a few Jordan almonds in my mouth, get right to where the sugar coating's almost gone, and then you just crack down to get right to that almond nut center. So someone is going to clip this and make it into something gross. I already can feel that. As the words left my mouth, I could hear that this is going to go to a wrong place. ML says, hey, Chris and Alan, heading out to see Late Night with the Devil in a bit. Thanks for all your suggestions. I've gotten many good movie trips out of them. Oh, well, thank you. You're going to enjoy Late Night with the Devil if you're a horror fan. David Desmalchin does a great job in it, and I don't want to tell you anything about the movie.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those horrors that is acceptable or accessible to a very broad audience, especially those who aren't particularly drawn to horror. I think you'll find this a good movie.
Yeah, and Goober says, hey, Easter peoples, thank you for that. And, oh, wow, 200 Watt Studios for 5 says, Chris and I grew up watching Monster Week on Channel 7 in Detroit, the 4:30 movie. Do you remember when they changed it to the 4 o'clock movie? But they had that opening. I can still hear the music and see the little thing with the director with the bullhorn, that image. Oh, my God, I want to get a T-shirt of that. Can we do like a T-shirt design where it's like the 4:30 movie, but it's somehow the Film Threat movie? I don't know. That's what made us Godzilla fans. Let me just tell you something. I quit the Cub Scouts because Godzilla. I was in the Cub Scouts and I'm like all about it. You know, you make a race car, you know, you do like all like, I mean, it was just it was all bonding stuff and you wear the little uniform. And I was in the Cub Scouts and Godzilla Week was on and I said, I can't come to Cub Scouts. It's Godzilla Week. Priorities. And I quit the Cub Scouts because of Godzilla Week. And here I am wearing a Minya shirt, still watching Godzilla movies.
By the way, I think it would have been okay just to take the week off from the Cub Scouts as opposed to just quitting
right.
it off of there.
Why didn't I take the week off? I should have done that. And we're going to get right into it. Thank you, 200 Watt Studios. That's awesome. Lord Thoth says, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, sign up as a member, and join us on Discord. Happy Easter, everyone. I hope the Happy Easter wasn't a typo, because that's very clever, Lord Thoth. Thank you. Always love to see Lord Thoth when Lord Thoth joins us. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. But let's get right into it. Something happened to me. I'm always looking for like, I'm looking for when, say, there's something special playing, like a one-time only event. And I happened to see a screening. It was one time, it was in IMAX, and I've never seen this movie on the big screen. I only saw a screener of it, and then I've seen it like, you know, on demand. The movie Ex Machina, directed by Alex Garland. Alex Garland, as you know, also made the movie Annihilation, Natalie Portman, and the film Men. That was a whole other conversation. I did not love Men. I did not love Men, oddly. But Alex Garland's film Ex Machina played. I forgot how great that movie was with Oscar Isaac. It's about an AI female that effectively the creator of it, you know, the creator of it wants to know how real is this? Does she actually have real feelings? Does this robot have real feelings? It's really a phenomenal sci-fi. It's a slow burn, but well worth it. And seeing it on the big screen, it was like seeing it again for the first time. It was fantastic. But after the movie, there was a 10-minute sneak of the first 10 minutes ish of Civil War. And let me just say, a lot of people are speculating about this movie. Based on what I have seen, this is something that doesn't appear, and I've only seen the first 10 minutes, so it's hard to even judge. But what I saw was, it appears as if it's a film less about the it's not about taking a side. It's about how the media manipulates people to polarize them. That's what it, and looking at the visual cues, it opens up with Nick Offerman as the president holding up in the White House, declaring that they will be victorious against the United California-Texas Front, which I think part of the reason that they're jumbling this is they don't want to be too close to reality. And then Kirsten Dunst is in her hotel room watching this momentous speech. She goes to this protest that and meets other fellow colleagues in journalism. You learn that she's kind of a legend in her field as a war photographer. Things go bad quickly. That's all I'll say. It's beautifully photographed. It's very serious in tone. And when you think about it, having been the guy, he wrote 28 Days Later. He also did Ex Machina, Annihilation. Man, I'll forgive him for that. This is the thing. Directors are not like, they're not 100% all the time. The greatest filmmakers of all time have always got a dud in them. Sometimes it's personal reasons, budget, they're rushing through something. I think based on what I know about directors that work at that level, it's incredibly stressful. They're always taking 3-month vacations in between movies. And I get it. Seeing it in IMAX was spectacular. So based on what I've seen so far, which is, we've seen the trailers. And here's what I'll say about the trailers. The trailers for this movie are incredibly deceptive. It just looks like an action movie. And I will speculate that based on what I saw, that there's a lot of action in the movie, but the tone of it isn't about the visceral violence and action. It's a much more thoughtful piece. And if you've seen his previous work, I think you'll see he's taking the serious matter very, he's taking it, he's really approaching it with a delicate hand. Because
let me ask this. When you say the trailer is deceptive, I kind of want to balance that with bad. I felt the trailer was bad, but you're saying it's deceptive.
No, it's bad. And it just looks, they're leaning into, I feel like there was a disconnect between the person
who didn't make the trailer, basically. That's
yes, the people who made this trailer, like, go for it. Come on, let's stir things up. Bad idea. The movie,
the woke members of the marketing team put it together, basically.
That's 100% right. 100% right.
All right.
So the movie, from what it appears, doesn't really take a side. It appears to be more about media manipulation, because you see the Nick Offerman as the president. This is like the very first shot of the movie is the president, but it's in this weird like focus where, not to get too technical, but there's the focal plane where something is in 100% focus, and you see him in the background out of focus, and then he comes into focus. It's about how the media lies, and it's about how the media manipulates people. And, the story's being told through Kirsten Dunst's character. And of course there'll be other characters that join her. But, I'll say I'm already intrigued. Cannot wait. You and I are going to get to see it the Monday before it opens. We'll have
a week from Monday.
We'll have a review actually Wednesday. We'll both be in Vegas for the meetup.
Yeah, and we'll be with Gary, and we'll be able to talk about it with him.
Right. So we'll see it. I mean, we'll see it like a couple days early, whatever, but we'll discuss it, and then we'll discuss it with everyone that Friday. But I want to see, based on what I've seen and just seeing Ex Machina, again, is kind of a reminder of the brilliance of Alex Garland. He's a very thoughtful filmmaker. I had the opportunity to meet and interview him once at the Tribeca Film Festival. This was a long time ago. Back in the, I don't know, God, was that like 2011, 2012, whatever. But I met him and we bonded over sci-fi novels we read as a kid. He's a huge fan of Logan's Run. We had this whole conversation about reading sci-fi novels when we were young and how they had this impression on us, like Isaac Asimov's Foundation, among others. So, and based on what I've seen of his work, very thoughtful filmmaker. My expectations are now high for Civil War. Do not get lulled by that trailer. The trailer is bad. The trailer for this movie is bad. Let's go to your comments and questions, and we're going to jump right into Godzilla after that, starting with, we have some super chats that are related to Godzilla. I'm going to skip those, but I'm not ignoring them. So please be patient. Toby Pegram, who's a member, says, I've heard it doesn't take sides. It just holds up a mirror to the audience. I'm all for that. Don't take a side, even if you have one. Agree. 100%.
Hold on. So let me be clear. You saw the opening 10 minutes or you saw
Correct.
Okay.
And then they showed like effectively like the little montage. They've done that before with the Dark Knight films or the, Chris Nolan's Dark Knight films. They did it with Dune. I like stuff like that. It gets me pumped and I love it. Don Minak says, my daughter saw this at South by Southwest and said it was quite good. Ron Swanson is barely in it, and Jesse Plemons is in one scene. I hear Jesse Plemons is fantastic. Thank you, Don. Zero Redux says, I saw a trailer of Civil War yesterday, and they made sure to show the clip of the president being dragged from the Oval. Really? I have not seen that clip. Okay. Interesting. I want to see Civil War, but can't stand Kaylee Spaney, says, hey, it's me in HD. I get it. Dunst is still the best MJ, says absolute right. I agree. Not a fan of Zendaya as MJ. I think it's pandering. And I think she's overrated as an actress. She's a very good model, and I hear she's fantastic in Euphoria, a television show I have never seen.
What about Emma Stone?
I like Emma Stone
as MJ.
She didn't play MJ.
Who? Oh,
Gwen Stacy.
Who played
Gwen Stacy?
Oh, that's right. It was what's her name? Bryce Dallas Howard.
Glenn, you gotta clip it. You've been gored. You've been gored.
She was in it.
I'm tired.
She was in it though. She was the love.
I'm tired of this whole thing where I'm getting in. This is the word. I don't really know Alan's opinion on things until we do the show.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
and you spill everything on the nooner. So.
Well. All right, finally, Alan.
Okay, good. You have one. There you go. I give it to you willingly.
Hey, Andrew Cram gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Thank you so much for that. And BMO, better sub-supporter. Interesting. Making the media the antagonist is a good move. That's what it appears. The media, it's all about cameras. Camera's a big thing with the president. He's out of focus. He comes into focus. You can see sort of what he's playing with. And I love the idea that the media is the one. It reminds me of a cartoon that I saw, and I've mentioned this several times on the show, called The High and the Flighty. It's a Looney Tunes cartoon, and it's one of the banned cartoons. You cannot find this cartoon. It's about Foghorn Leghorn and the dog are in a fight, and they're in a battle. And they keep getting these Acme products to battle and fight each other in painful ways to kind of beat Foghorn Leghorn. I'm going to beat the dog. And then the dog's like, I'm going to get the Foghorn Leghorn and the chicken, whatever, the rooster. And then what you see is Daffy Duck is a salesman for Acme, and he's selling these traps and these, weapons to both sides. And they finally figure it out, and then they go after Daffy Duck. Why is that a banned cartoon? Look it up. It has a whole Wikipedia page about it being banned. The High and the Flighty. I saw that movie saw that short cartoon as a kid. It blew my mind how profound it was, the message in it. And it's about playing both sides. And I think there's a lot of interesting messaging in that cartoon. So why is a cartoon that's innocuous? Yeah, it's like violent, but no worse, better or worse than any other Looney Tunes cartoon.
And that's
Very
an old
telling,
one,
but
isn't it? It's like the 50s, 60s Looney Tunes.
yeah. It was,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, at that time, that was a very political message. And by the way,
Yes.
since when did the chat love the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man so much?
Yeah. Well, it's because of, No Way Home. Thank you for that. Blue collar loser. So, okay, wait. Sorry. I'm going to get to that.
Save those.
We're going to get to all of those. Yeah. Dunst is the best. MJ says absolutely right. And so a Hollywood trailer misrepresented a movie about the media misrepresenting society. Says Bill S. Preston, Esquire. Could not have said it better myself. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it. And we want to say hi to the almost 200 people watching live on Rumble. We thank you. And over 500 watching live here on YouTube. We appreciate you.
Yes. Follow.
Thank you.
Follow us on Rumble. Like the video on Rumble. Thumbs up on Rumble. And on YouTube as well. Lick that like button on YouTube.
Lick the like button. What are we talking about here, Alan? What are we talking about? The worst thing is whenever I get inged, this is how that's how I feel every time I get inged.
The ladies laughing at you. And
can you believe I did that in front of an audience? That's crazy that I actually did that thing.
I'm pretty sure you did that on G4, right?
Not that I recall.
You got shot in the shower.
I did a lot of crazy stuff.
Didn't you get shot in the shower on G4?
I did. I got shot. I got killed by a wolf. They were always like murdering me. I was like the Kenny of the show. It's pretty weird. Hey, before we go on real quick, want to thank you to our sponsor this month, the month of March. We have a sponsor. That's criticless.com. Go to criticless.com. You can, it's like a social network where you can express your opinion about movies. Imagine a place like sort of a part of Twitter where you can just talk about movies. You can share your opinion. That's what Criticless is, and we appreciate them. So thanks to the folks at Criticless.
Entertainment review platforms don't have to be pretentious or boring. Art is exciting, and the forum where you discuss it should be too. Criticless is a new outlet allowing you to do just that. Review, share, and converse. Congregate with like-minded folks in a more creative, pro-free speech environment. Join the conversation at criticless.com or download in app stores today.
And Alan and I, by the way, are both on Criticless. So look me up. I'm that Chris Gore. Alan is
my pal Al.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey,
by the way, are you reviewing films on Criticless?
I'm going to post reviews on there.
Yes.
But I just set it up. I got a picture.
It's so easy. Just do it. Just do one a day, something like that.
All right. Hey, we're going to pivot. We're going to talk about Godzilla X Kong. Yeah, you got to keep up. You got to keep up.
Yeah, got to keep up. Keep it up. Rock it hard. Make it work. And make it so.
Let's talk about the new Godzilla film, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. Hey, here's what's weird about the title for this movie. Didn't we just review another film last week that had the word Empire in the title?
Yeah.
So we've got Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire.
Yeah, and then we reviewed a movie with Godzilla in it not too long ago.
So there you go.
And we have Planet of the Apes to look forward to. So
let me answer real quickly on the thumbnail. Is Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire better than Godzilla -1? The quick answer is one word, no. Not even close. This is part of the legendary series where they've taken the popular Toho monster, Godzilla, created a new series. The first film was 2014's Godzilla, directed by Gareth Edwards, followed up by Kong Skull Island. And then we had Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, And now here we are with Godzilla X Kong. It's a buddy monster movie that I'll just say, compared to Godzilla -1, which is such a serious-minded, beautiful film with so much to say about humanity, rallying together towards a cause without the help of the government, to defeat Godzilla and rebuild Japan. An incredibly smart and emotional film to what is a cartoon with an incredibly dumb plot where you will lose IQ points from watching it. This is in the realm of, and by the way, there was a cartoon in the 70s, was it 70s or 80s, a Godzilla cartoon that I watched. It was completely stupid. They had a baby Godzilla in it, if many recall, called Gadzuki. This is a simple plot where Kong is now faced with a new threat, a group of now other apes in a tribe led by a character. I guess he's just known as Scar because he has a scarred face, and he's able to control another monster that breathes ice. This other monster is effectively the slave of these apes, giving them the power to defeat any villain. Kong is just trying to survive in the hollow earth. He needs to recruit Godzilla, who is going off defeating titans all over. Somehow Godzilla's become the hero of Earth now, even though I'm looking, the property damage and death toll alone of what Godzilla does just by like casually sauntering through a city has got to be ridiculous. I don't see how you could view Godzilla as a hero. He's kind of a force of nature that destroys everything in his path, but he is defeating other worse monsters. In the beginning of the film, he defeats a monster that looks like a crab mixed with an octopus. They're running out of ideas for good monsters. And I have so many nitpicks about this film. We'll get to it. I also, part of me, the 8-year-old in me that quit Cub Scouts because of Godzilla week at the movies, is still like, oh, it's kind of cool. There are lots of monsters fighting right now. But the CG just, there's a weird disconnect with the CG. That's why I compare it to a cartoon. Obviously, this leads to a battle in where Kong and Godzilla now must team up to defeat the larger threat of this tribe of apes that have a powerful weapon in the form of a ice-breathing monster. That's effectively the story. Look, as a Godzilla fan, I'll see good Godzilla movies and I'll see bad Godzilla movies. And this is a bad Godzilla movie, in my opinion. I don't know that it's the worst. I really was disappointed by King of the Monsters, even though it brought in Mothra and King Ghidorah, which I love. King Ghidorah might be my second favorite kaiju. But it's just dumb. It's a cartoon for kids. The kid in me thought it was fun, but it's a terrible movie. I mean, we're talking about like between a 4 and a 5. It's just whatever. But I can't say like there's, look, I try to look for the good in some things, especially when it's something I really already am predisposed to like. But this was just dumb. If you look at it as a cartoon, fine. But compared to Godzilla -1, no comparison. Alan, what did you think of Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire?
Yeah, absolutely. It's why I hate Fast and Furious. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. Yeah. And it's a cartoon where you split half of the movie with humans and half of it with the cartoon monsters. And I don't know. I for some reason I would much rather had seen people dressed in suits crushing cardboard cities than this. I don't know why. It just look, and when you look at how CG has progressed over the decades, why does current CG feel like a regression?
It does. It looks less real.
Look, the best CG movie ever made was Jurassic Park, and I feign to think of a movie that comes close to that blending of practical and CG as Jurassic Park did. and I just, this is, I just want more, and I feel like practical has. I don't think this is an argument, but practical is better than CG, and this is the case. The story, on the other hand, is horrible in the sense that this story is pure narrative, meaning the characters move from point A to point B to point C to point D, and the movie's over. In fact, halfway in the movie, they outline, in order for Godzilla and Kong to win, they have to do this, this, and this. And guess what happens? Kong and Godzilla do this, this, and this, and they win. So they've effectively spoiled the movie halfway through because there was no drama. Classic Pixar did it the best, where Woody and the gang, they said, okay, in order to save Buzz, we got to do this, this, and this, and at every step something goes wrong. And I remember Toy Story 3 when all the toys were in the incinerator, looking at each other as if they're really gonna die.
Yes.
Thinking to myself, oh my God, they're gonna kill Woody and Buzz. I mean, that's how great the storytelling is, because you don't know what the next step is going to be. And this one just lays it out halfway through the film. And so there's no surprise at all in this film. It's just, monsters fighting. That's all this movie is monsters fighting. Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you a question.
Please.
Describe the character of Rebecca Hall, Dr. I forget her name. Dr. Andrews. Describe the basics of the character.
Annoying white lady.
Yes. Okay. Now her daughter, Gia. Describe
Pocahontas.
Yeah. Exactly. They're there for the role. A smart woman, a mute child who has empathy for monsters. That's the sum total of these characters. The character development in this movie is horrendous. The Dan Stevens character was annoying.
Trapper.
Is his name Trapper? That opening number where he's lip syncing a song. Was that supposed to be cool?
And then they play these ancient rock songs.
Yeah,
like he's a bat, and they even make a joke about him dressing like Ace Ventura. He dresses like Ace Ventura, and then they reference Ace Ventura in the movie. There's so many nitpicks for this of bad levels of bad.
Let me mention one more thing. Bernie,
please.
Brian Tyree Henry. What they should have done was they should have just watched hours of Nerdrotic and made that the character.
That would have been better. Shout out to Nerdrotic and his show Forbidden Frontiers on Sunday nights. Brian Tyree Henry plays this annoying character named Bernie Hayes, who seems to know everything. There's this scene in the third act where he's describing what needs to happen, and he just lays out what's going to happen in the third act. They need to do this, and Mothra has to do this to do that, so that this happens and this. How does he know that? It's so stupid. It's video game stupid. I'm talking about modern bad video games. That's a whole other. That's a whole other thing we don't want to go down.
And then there's the constant. Oh, that was convenient. It was there. I mean, right. It's in the trailer. The Transformer hand. Wow, it was
Bumblebee.
Where did they get that from?
It's Bumblebee, basically. He smashed Bumblebee, put it on because he kind of injured his hand, so they give him this hand thing.
But the thing is, it just happened to be lying around. I mean, wow, that was very convenient.
There's so many layers of bad in this. One thing I have to point out, and I want to go to the chat here. How did Godzilla get so fit? Godzilla is this lumbering. If Godzilla really existed, he would be slow moving because of the sheer weight. He would move slow.
Mm-hmm.
I like slow zombies. Okay. I like slow Godzilla, and I like Godzilla that looks like a man in a suit. Quick aside, if you go to the official Godzilla Toho YouTube channel, they are making a series of digital shorts. So they're all completely 100% digital, but they look like and move like there is a man in the suit. Mm-hmm. So it has the feeling of the old 60s, 70s Godzilla while still being 100% digital. Fantastic shorts there.
Godzilla -1 had that.
Godzilla -1 had that feel. There's one with Gigan that is amazing. So check out the Godzilla official Toho channel for those series of shorts, which are fantastic.
And what does Godzilla eat? What does he eat?
He eats nuclear energy. That's
Okay.
dumb, which is how they explain the fact that he goes pink, which is ridiculous. I was hoping there would be a surprise baby Godzilla. Didn't get it, unfortunately. But and then the way Godzilla moves, it's like Godzilla got fit. He's running, he like jumps and attacks things like this big it's defies logic and it looks bad. It objectively looks stupid. Although, to be fair, in the old Godzilla movies in the 60s, Godzilla did this move where he just kind of goes up on his legs and just goes across. Yeah. You can find an animated GIF of that, like where he's just.
But no, he's on his tail. He's not on his legs, right?
Yeah, he just sort of goes that way.
Yeah, slides on his tail.
And it's dumb. That was funny, and those movies you don't take as seriously. Yeah. But come on, you pointed out earlier that when we saw Jurassic Park in the early 90s, who was not blown away by that? Who did not get chills thinking, I feel like I'm seeing a real dinosaur interact with people? The stirring, of course, John Williams' score. None of that is here. CG is getting worse, not better. And when you look at things like Dune and Dune Part 1 and 2, when you look at things like Godzilla -1, it's not as if Godzilla -1 with 35 people working on the effects. This probably had, again, another 1,000 middle management bloat, all that stuff. How is it that these other filmmakers and movies have such beautiful CGI that makes you feel that it's real? When in Godzilla -1, when they're on the boat being chased by a Godzilla, which is right behind you, it feels so real. They're on the water. Yes, it's reminiscent of Jaws, which is a good thing. He's not ripping it off. It's an
when you told me about how they did the girl on a train and then I saw clips of it, I was just blown away. Because I was thinking they did exactly what Mission Impossible did, and no, they didn't. And it looked so real. It looks
so real. Like how are these smaller movies, or let's say lower budgeted movies, able to achieve effects that look better than movies with these bloated budgets? Look, it's a fail for me. Yes, I went to see it because I'll go see every Godzilla movie. You know what? I might even get the cup. Yeah, I got the cup. Why? It has Godzilla on it.
That's a waste of money.
I might need to drink later. What do you mean it's a waste of money? Of course it's a waste.
I mean, look at that thing. I mean,
yes, it's cheap.
That's why I didn't buy it, because it looked like that.
Fine. I bought it. It came with a soda, and I wanted soda. And so can I have a soda with Godzilla or not? So this is what a sucker I am with this stuff. I can't recommend it. I can't recommend it. It's, again, for me, like a 4 or 5 out of 10, and like -1 is a 9.5 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, and the best Godzilla movie we may have ever seen.
Go see Primevals. I mean, if you're gonna watch a movie like this, go support Primevals.
Go support Primevals for sure. Alan, any final thoughts before we go to the chat?
Yeah, I'm calling it the regression of Hollywood. It's storytelling and effects just doesn't seem to be evolving in any way, and this is a grand example of that.
Yeah, let's hear what you think with your comments and questions here, starting with some super chats that came in. Oh my God, chat is on fire.
Yeah, we have.
Benjamin for 999. I appreciate the love for Toy Story 3, and I laugh as I remember Mr. Potato Head putting his parts on that tortilla and wobbling around. Great movie. That is, first of all, thank you for the super chat. Yeah. I love Toy Story 3. That scene was so heartfelt. Who didn't get choked up?
Yeah. I mean, I literally thought they were going to die. And I'm like,
no, you did.
Can't happen.
You did. 200 watt studio for 5. The trailers lost me when Kong and G were whipping around skyscrapers, thinking about the hundreds of thousands of dead people. Hero of Earth, lol. That's another thing that bothers me. God, I wish I mentioned in the main review. The final scene in the movie destroys a city.
Yeah, an entire city. And a major city on top of that.
Godzilla -1 at least mentioned 30,000 people died in this Godzilla attack.
Like, and the thing is, in Godzilla -1, you saw people die. I mean, that, as morbid as that sounds, that's important because there's gravity now to what Godzilla is doing. In this one, because you don't see people die, you just see buildings being crushed. You don't get that sense of, the danger of this situation that we're in.
Oh, wow. Benjamin coming in with $49.99. That's basically $50. It's Easter weekend for Christians, and I'm not trying to provoke anything ideological, but what is your opinion of Gibson's The Passion of the Christ in its 20th anniversary? Love you guys. Alan, this is one's for you.
I know. I will tell you, I've not seen the movie, and I will tell you why. It is incredibly violent. I've studied the crucifixion for years. I have a degree in the subject. And what I've read is horrific enough. I don't necessarily need to see it on screen. I understand the impact and why that sacrifice Jesus made was so important. I don't necessarily need to see it on screen. But people love it. My wife desperately wants me to see it. But I get it. I appreciate Gibson doing it, and good on him for making such an amazing film. But I haven't seen it.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Benjamin. That's very generous. I'm going to go to non-Godzilla related chat questions after, and then we've got a lot more movies to review today. So we're going to go quick here. Orange for 199. What time does Godzilla X Kong release? I mean, it's, go see it in theaters now. Go quick. It'll be on VOD.
It's
pretty soon. You, me, and the movies. It's a Showa era inspired kids movie, and you guys are comparing it to Godzilla -1. But admit it brings your inner kid out and that inner kid fun. The nitpicks need to be nitpicked. Look, I did say it during my review. The 8-year-old in me is like, oh my God. I brought back a memory of when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my mom would drop me off at the movies. I am a little boy, 9, 10 years old, 11 years old, being dropped off at the movie theater. This is the kind of trust we had. And also, when I was a kid, I would play until it got dark, and all I would hear is, your mom would like scream out the door. Our screen doors were never locked, and I just would, it's time to come home now, because my mom is yelling my name, because I was either in the backyard or at the park around the corner playing with friends. We played tag. It was a different time. Anyways, so when I went to the movies, I saw Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, Frankenstein Conquers the World, and War of the Gargantuas. One of the greatest moments of my life was watching those movies in a movie theater alone as a young nerd. And it was fantastic. Whenever a Godzilla movie played, I would read the newspaper to find out what monster movies are in the theaters or playing on TV. That was it. I was all monsters from the time I was like 4 or 5 years old. I want monsters. But yeah,
I'll respond by saying I think we underestimate kids' ability to handle more adult and more adult type storytelling. Right. To say it's for kids, I mean, this is a pretty amazing effort from Warner Brothers and Legendary to put a kids movie out. And, people said the same comment when we talked about X-Men 97. I read the original X-Men comic books in junior high. I was in that age range, and I was perfectly fine with the comics. And yes, I felt like the cartoon was just a dumbed down version of a kid version of that. And I feel like, no, you don't necessarily have to tell kid stories like that. And so, this will be the conflict we have about that subject for going forward.
Christopher Moonlight Productions. Productions.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just talk when I talk. It's great.
Just go.
Yeah.
Just go.
Christopher Moonlight Productions says, Chris, when you say you feel like you're losing IQ points, this is something that bothers me about people shilling for these movies. It's like they're advocating for mediocrity. And the big question is, from Sons and Shadows, Chris, did you get the popcorn bucket for this movie? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And the cup. It's a cool bucket. I am now quickly getting a bucket collection.
It was just a bucket.
Flying Nanook says, why does it sound like they did not think of making the human characters as actual humans, but as stereotypes of personality disorders? Yeah, I mean, this is what, look, when you look at the old Godzilla movies with Russ Tamblyn and the characters in War of the Gargantuas, I loved that. In Godzilla versus the Astro Monster or Monster Zero, that movie has like 4 or 5 different titles every time I see it. I love that film, and the human characters are really interesting. Nick Adams is in that one. And hey, Film Watcher, look, I'm going to stand by. Film Watcher 96 says people are just being petty and spoiled. For the love of God, it's a kaiju movie, not a high-class film. Get off your high horse and enjoy both. LMFAO, yikes. Can I just say this? At the screening I was at, I sat in front of a bunch of young kids behind me. When I say young, they're like in their 20s. Okay, that's young to me.
Young adults.
They were laughing. They applauded at the end. The audience applauded. There's a reason that the audience score for this is like, 80, 90%. The critic score is low. Alan, could you look it up? I'm going to read some more chats. But Film Watcher 96, I get it. Like the kid in me, the Godzilla fan that was 8-year-olds and quit 8-year-old, and I quit the Cub Scouts to watch Godzilla Week in Detroit on Channel 7 is going bonkers, right? Like I love it. But for me, of all the legendary movies, the best one is Kong Skull Island. Oddly, with Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson, might be the best thing Brie Larson did next to her Oscar-winning role in The Room. Go back and watch Kong Skull Island. It's very good. See, look at this. 92% audience score, 54% critic score. I think it's fair because you can be in two minds about something. Yes, I know this is a bad movie. Yes, it's terrible. The 8-year-old Godzilla fan in me is going crazy. Thank you, Film Watcher 96.
At the same time, I'm supposed to like it because it's not taken. I shouldn't take it seriously. So therefore, I should change my opinion and say I liked it. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. For 499, forking around, says Godzilla and Kong is the best Batman and Superman movie ever made. Too bad it's a horrible Godzilla movie. Kong even gets a Robin. Oh, that's right. We didn't even talk about Baby Kong. Oh my God. Baby Kong was whatever. I always think when they add something cute to anything, that's like the beginning of the end of a franchise. Greer from Gilead for 499. Godzilla takes a slow motion dive off the Strait of Gibraltar into the ocean. Absolutely ridiculous. And then Godzilla minus fun, says Goober, member for 15 months. Thank you for that. That might be the comment of the day. And from Rumble, BMO Better, who's a sub-supporter, says, does Kong have a transformer on his hand? It's definitely Bumblebee inspired. So there you go. There you go, Alan. It is what it is. So a couple more comments here. Blue Collar Loser for 5 saw it last night. Sold out IMAX. Every kid cheered. People walked out happy. Isn't that why we see movies? It knows its audience. Rotten Tomatoes, 92%. I had fun. Fair. That's completely fair. And I would agree. Look, the audience I saw it with clapped and cheered and had fun. Geeking with James Hancock for 10. The short answer to the title of this video is no. Godzilla minus one is vastly superior. Keep up the amazing work and see y'all at the Comic-Con Vegas meetup. See you there. We still have slots on the RSVP. We will post the link in the description. RSVP for the event that we're doing, which is called the let's see, what's it called again? It's the official Film Thread CinemaCon VIP Vegas meetup for A-listers only. Someone asked me, like, I'm not an A-lister. That's a joke, folks. We're making fun of elitist nonsense.
Yeah. But April 9th in the evening at the Millennium Fan Bar, or is it just the Millennium Bar?
Millennium Fandom Bar. 200 Watt Studio for 5. I was mad when my Monster Week was filled with Gamera films, not Godzilla. I didn't mind Gamera. There's that one where the kids go to the other planet with the women that are trying to eat their brains, and then they have the knife monster. I loved that. I kind of love that one. 200 Watt Studio goes on to say for 2, I think that was called Arms Dealer Daffy. It's actually the High and the Flighty. So Chris, thank you for that, 200 Watt Studios. Andrew Keys, Chris in a gorilla suit and Alan in a Godzilla suit would make a far more entertaining movie, I reckon. Maybe we'll do that one day.
Yeah. Actually, this would probably be a good time to promote Versus on Monday.
Yeah, Versus on Monday. Versus on Monday, Alan has recruited a whole bunch of Asian YouTubers on a show to talk about Godzilla. Make of that what you will, but like Versus on Monday, after people have seen it, is going to be lit. That's all I'll say. So join us on Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Loved the Kong stuff. The rest was top tier cringe. No more humans. Yeah. And Alan Snob.
Yep.
Well,
That's
there
right,
you go.
Paulie. That's right. I have standards.
Sons and
In fact,
Shadows.
my daughter, I make my daughter meet high standards, except nothing less than quality.
Sons and Shadows member for 8 months says it's not a transformer, it's a power glove. Oh, that's right. It's a power glove that's colored like Bumblebee. And a couple non-Godzilla related super chats here. We're going to Krizik for 2 says, no shame, Chris, but Alan Criticlesses a lot. Alan is my pal Al on Criticless. Check it out. And for 10 here, hey, Kira says, I actually like the Garfield Spider-Man films when they came out. Saw Amazing Spider-Man 2 in theaters twice. I didn't know it was hated until years later. I did not like them, but it's, what can I say? I'm a Tobey Maguire fan, but I really like Andrew Garfield as an actor. I feel like the script was the thing that was the weakness, the weak link there.
I like the first one. I didn't like the second one.
Well, there you go. We got a lot of other films to review. Where do we start, Alan?
Yes. Hey, sorry. 2 buttons there. Let's start with In the Land of Saints and Sinners.
Alan, tell me about it.
All right. I have the so this is Liam Neeson's new film. It's out in theaters today. Let me just grab I have the press note right here. So this tale takes place in the 1970s in Northern Ireland. Liam Neeson plays Finbar Murphy, who is a hitman. He goes into the local town. He has a mob boss played by Colm Meaney, who tells him who to kill next. He drags him out into the countryside, carrying a tree, a baby tree. Then he has his victim dig a grave. Then he kills him, fills in the grave, and then plants the tree on top of his victim. And so he's been doing this for a very long time by the size of the forest he has planted. But meanwhile, on the other side of town, the IRA is in action. A small group led by Dorian, played by Carrie Condon. She and her team basically somewhat botched a car bombing. Little kids got killed, and because she was trying to warn the kids to get away, she got spotted. So they're off in Finbar's region to hide. Now, one of the conspirators is dating a girl that Finbar knows, and she has a daughter. Apparently, he's abusive, and Finbar decides to go out on his own and kill the guy. And now it becomes a battle between this hitman, this aged hitman, and an IRA faction to kill each other. And that's what pretty much this movie is. This is the tough thing about indie films, especially like this. The easiest films to review are the ones that are really good or really bad. And when they fall in the middle, it's kind of like, it's very hard to say, well, should I recommend it or shouldn't I? There's enough to like about it. I think what I wish indie film did more was to kind of step back and say, hey, our film should have 3 moments that stand out. That basically is your water cooler moment where, hey, you need to see this movie because of this, this, and this. This moment happened, this character, or something like that. That's what I look for in any film. Just a reason to talk about it afterwards. This is actually a fairly good kind of Irish mafia movie. But I really wanted something to really stand out. And I just didn't get that from it. I think you're gonna get a solid story. You're gonna get some good action, people trying to kill each other, a lot of mob tactics. A lot of hey, I met you and we're in a crowded public place. How are we going to make this standoff work? And that's kind of what this movie is about. So I will give it, a mild recommendation, meaning if you want to see a Liam Neeson movie and a fairly decent action film, this is a good one to go to. But I honestly just want to be able to say something great about it, and I just don't have that for this film.
Well, there you go. I still am not convinced. And only because I've seen a bunch of the recent Liam Neeson movies. I feel there's a sameness about them, which is kind of annoying. And I like his character from Taken. He's basically taking the tough guy character from Taken, and he just is putting it in different movies, jumbling it up. I feel like a lot of the scripts are kind of weak. I've seen a bunch of these. I stopped watching them. I cannot wait, though. Having said that, I cannot wait for the reboot of Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. That is Chef's Kiss perfect casting, and I cannot wait.
That would be awesome. Wait. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. He's older. He can't exactly do the action scenes that Harrison Ford can no longer do.
Right.
But I think what you're looking for now is can his character do what the character at his age do, and I think they got it right.
Well, that's fine. I cannot wait for the Naked Gun thing, because that's just going to be, it's so perfect to me. There could not be more perfect casting than that. So,
but are the Zucker brothers involved? That's my only concern.
Man, they could just remake them with the exact scripts. I wouldn't care. But Liam Neeson's his own thing. And the reason I say this is because if you've seen Liam Neeson in that show, what was that show?
Life is Short.
Life is Short with Ricky Gervais. There's a scene where he talks like they're rehearsing a scene together.
No, he wants Ricky.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it.
All right.
We've been having issues with getting our channel getting demonetized, or not, excuse me, not the channel, our certain videos. And it's because I think of words we say.
Yeah. Okay. So I can say it. He wants Ricky to teach him to do improv.
And it's glorious. So Liam Neeson can do comedy, confirmed. Yeah. Let's go to some quick comments and questions. We've got a lot more films to review. Kratos El Statos or 50 or 50 says, I like it when you call me Big 50. Hail, I'll be at your meetup. Looking forward to it. I usually can't make it to these live. Glad to catch you. I heard GXK is good. Godzilla X Kong. Good American popcorn flick, but apples and oranges to -1. Yeah, that's fine. That's why I said the 8-year-old in me is freaking out that there's so many monsters fighting. I mean, it literally is the WWE of monsters. And if you can just set that aside, you will have a good time. And also, Kratos El Statos, I got a surprise. I'm giving away a bunch of Blu-rays. I'm giving away a bunch of stuff at the meetup. So if you come to the Film Threat meetup, I have a very special Blu-ray that is going to blow people's minds. I'm giving away. It's not my movie, Attack of the Doc. I'll bring some of those for sale if people are interested. But I have a very special giveaway and some Film Threat giveaways too. I love to get stuff for free, so I love to give away things for free. And the meetup is free. Nikki D for 5. Good day, gents. Were you guys able to watch the Richard Linklater movie Hitman while it played during the film festivals this year? I have not. I don't believe Alan has. You would have told me.
No, I haven't. And
but when it is in commercial release, we'll review it. Moving on, Super Satan Son for 5,000 Martian pesos. I think that's what that is. Watched Godzilla X Kong yesterday. Had a lot of fun with all the monsters. We're just too lucky to have both over the top and serious Godzilla movies going on simultaneously. I can only be grateful for it. You know what? That's a very positive attitude. I should take that attitude. I just think that Godzilla -1, which I saw, was the movie I saw the most in theaters last year. I saw it 8 times, and it's playing again at the Academy, and tickets are sold out. Tickets are sold out on Sunday. I wanted to go, couldn't go, but yeah, I agree. Just give me, I'll take both. Did you homies see Quiet on the Set? What's your opinion on the doc? Says Benjamin for 999. Alan?
Have not seen it.
I also have not seen it, but I've seen the clips. It's disturbing and not surprising. There are a lot of things that are not surprising that are happening in the industry. And that sure is one of them.
Yep.
What can you say? All right, time to pivot. We're going to talk about something else here. We're going to talk about my favorite film. That's actually my favorite film I saw. You know what? I'm going to show the IMDb because why not? It's a movie called Lousy Carter. Lousy Carter is a film directed by Bob Byington, who is a weirdo. I've met Bob Byington as a director. This guy definitely is. If you look up the word curmudgeon in the dictionary, that's Bob Byington. He's wildly talented filmmaker who is from Austin, Texas. And this movie, Lousy Carter, is the character whose name is Lousy Carter is played by David Krumholtz. David Krumholtz, many of you saw recently in the film Oppenheimer. He has a bit part in there, recurring all throughout. So Lousy Carter, he was named Lousy Carter in school, and that name stuck. He is a college professor who made a short animated movie that was of some acclaim. He takes himself super seriously as a professor, which is ridiculous. He gets a diagnosis from his doctor that he has 3 months to live. He's going to die. And basically it changes everything, and he doesn't give an F. He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care. And then his ex-girlfriend suggests, well, if you're going to die in 3 months, why don't you just fuck one of your students? So then he has a crush on one of his students who he pursues in a very respectful way. It's hysterical. Martin Starr plays his best friend, who is also a colleague at this college. It's utterly stupid, ridiculous, funny. It has a bizarre, dry wit and sense of humor. It is in theaters and limited release, but it's also, I believe you can get it on video on demand. I had a great time with this movie. I've seen it twice. I actually did go to a screening where they had a Q&A with the filmmakers, which was fantastic. It's just one of those things. It's like a breath of fresh air. Stephen Root is in it. Of course, Stephen Root from Office Space, who has an iconic role in Office Space. Always loved Stephen Root. And the Q&A is actually in the members only videos on the channel. So check that out if you're a member. I filmed the whole Q&A. And Martin Starr, also from Freaks and Geeks. Martin Starr turns up in a bunch of bit parts in movies. I've always loved Martin Starr. One of my favorite moments from Martin Starr was from Freaks and Geeks. When he comes home, his character comes home, he's watching TV, he's alone and eating a TV dinner, and he's having the time of his life. And you could look on it as sad, or you could look on it as, this is a kid just loving life. And it really reminded me of being a latchkey kid when I was a kid. I'd come home, I made my own dinner, did my paper route, did my homework, watched a lot of TV, and had fun. But Lousy Carter is also, there's a movie that Bob Byington made called Francis Ferguson that preceded this one that is kind of similar in nature, but it's a female protagonist, which I also recommend, that is also bizarre and weird. The other thing about Lousy Carter, the movie is like 70 minutes. It's under 90 minutes. So good. Had a great time. If I strongly recommend something, take a chance on Lousy Carter. It is a comedy that has a dry sense of humor, so it's not going to be for everybody, but the actors in it, including like Olivia Thirlby, the whole cast just works so well, and it's just a bizarre situation, and I think you'll enjoy it. So there you go. That's my recommendation, Alan. I also think that you've recommended comedies to me. Comedy is your space. I think horror is more my space. Low budget horror and exploitation movies. So whenever like you're high in a comedy, that's like high praise. So I think you would really like Lousy.
Okay, I'll definitely take a look at it.
Yeah, cool, great.
Yeah, and we gave it a good review on our website. This played at Locarno. Basically, the review is it's absurdist to the max.
Yeah, it's super absurdist comedy, and yeah, there you go. Here we go. A couple comments here. Kratos El Statos for 10. I'm really interested in whatever new Blu-ray you've got cooking. I already got Attack of the Doc at Matsuri. I heard it was endorsed by a bunch of AI celebrities. Lol. So consider my interest peaked. No, this is I'm giving away a Blu-ray at our event that ties into a new movie that I'm making. and I don't want to tell you about it. I will be making an announcement on April 9th about what my next thing is.
At the event.
At the event, I'm making it's pretty big announcement. I cannot wait because it's sort of laying out the future of what Film Threat is going to be expanding into. More than just the website and the YouTube channel. We have all sorts of bigger things that are coming. And I'll be making that announcement at the event. And I don't want to tell you, but if you show up, I got free stuff for you. How about that? From Rumble. A Rumble rant from Caveat Ties sub-supporter. Did either of you watch Exemplum? I'm not much of an indie guy, but I just watched it and enjoyed it very much. Alan?
I've not seen it.
Cool.
We're batting 1,000.
Hey, well, the thing is, Alan and I see so many things that it's just reality. We can only see so many things.
And it's kind of choosing which one we see over the other and not knowing which one we really should be seeing.
Right.
It's throwing darts.
Is what it is. All right, let's go to our next review. Wait, no, God, we have so little time today, unfortunately. Alan, did you have a review or you have another?
I do have a review.
Let's do yours, and I got 3 more. We'll see if we can get through them.
Okay, let me
Tell me about The Wages of Fear, a film I have not seen, but you have.
Yes, Wages of Fear actually just came out on Netflix today. I'll give you my pet peeve when it comes to movies, especially ones that I'm trying to review. But try to mention the character's name several times throughout the film so I can figure out who's who. And then when you go on IMDb, try to match up the actor with the character's name so I know who's what. So this is gonna be a weird review because I have no idea what these names are, but it takes place in kind of the Middle East. There's a little town that sets upon a large oil field, and this oil company has been extracting oil, but the terrorists have come and they've sabotaged the oil rig. And so in 24 hours, the oil field is going to blow up and the town is going to go with it, about 5,000 people. So a NGO social worker is saying that they need to be saved. She hires her lover and his brother to basically go and get a large stash of nitroglycerin, put them in trucks, and then drive them across the desert. And then we're going to blow up the well to save the town. The oil company is behind it. They're paying for the whole thing, but it has to be on the down low. And so you have government officials who have been recently involved in a coup and then a retaking of the coup. And then you also have the bandits who are the ones who committed the coup. And so now they have to drive these 2 massive trucks across the desert for hundreds of miles, A, without getting caught, and B, without blowing up. Because, as you know, nitroglycerin, any false move, and you're getting a massive explosion. And so that's what this movie is. It's basically that trip across the desert. And again, same thing with In the Land of Saints and Sinners. You're just looking for moments to talk about. This one is pretty much a straightforward action film. They go across the desert, they meet certain traps, they meet the bandits, they have to cross rugged terrain without blowing up. There's a minefield that they have to cross. So it's a French film, so I'll throw that in there. It's not an American film. It was fine for what it is. It is an action film. If you're looking for a lazy day at Netflix and chill, this is not a bad one to watch. It's got a lot of intrigue, but again, you just really want a moment you can talk about, and this movie doesn't have it either.
All right, let's go.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong in the sense of you want a movie to watch that you want to talk about afterwards and not feel like, oh, it was okay.
Well, there you go. Magnum Norse for 10. Alan Ing reminds me of my grandpa. Chris reminds me of him as well. He died on an Asian ship of liver failure. This is, I don't know how to respond to that.
It's the
Thanks.
comment of the day.
Gabe A for 5. Where would you put Iron Eagle movie ranking as among the top aircraft movies? It is among the top aircraft movies. R.I.P. Louis Gossett Jr. We misspelled that, but that's okay, Gabe A. Yeah, no, it's a tragic. It's sad when you see like actors you love pass away that remind you of their great work. It's an opportunity to revisit that work, and yeah. What can you say? It's sad. I generally don't like do reactions on social media. I kind of feel like it's more, I when it comes to actors passing away, but yeah, that one lost another great. Spaceman said, Alan, watch the original. It's great. 200 Watt Studio says Wages of Fear wanted men carrying explosives to an oil field. The original is fantastic. Friedkin remade as Sorcerer in 1977. Star Wars opened the same weekend. I remember when Sorcerer bombed because of Star Wars. It was weird. And A Serious Man, how's it going, man? Wages of Fear sounds like a remake of a 1953 film. It actually is.
Yeah, apparently is. Yeah.
There you go. All right. We got to pivot because we got a lot to discuss today. A lot of movies. So let's get to it here. I'm going to talk about another movie. Let's talk about DogMan. DogMan is directed by the great Luc Besson. Okay, Luc Besson is a filmmaker who did, of course, Leon, among so many other great films. He's a French filmmaker. And I was a fan of him. God, when was it? He did a movie. I have to look it up. He also did The Fifth Element, La Femme Nikita. There's a movie he made early in his career that I really love. He also did Lousy, and he did a film. I got to go way back because it's like an older black and white movie from way back in the day. The Last Battle from 1983. Which is pretty incredible film. So there you go. DogMan. I don't know what to say about DogMan, except that it's very. Let me just describe the story out loud, and then you make of it what you will. It stars a character named Douglas Monroe, who's detained by the police department. He's been involved in a horrible crime. We don't know the details about the crime. And he's carrying a truck filled with dogs. He is Douglas Monroe is this character played by actor Caleb Landry Jones. You might recognize him from films like Get Out. Very good actor. I like Caleb Landry Jones. He plays a transvestite in a wheelchair who was abused by his dad, and his dad threw him in a cage when he was a child to live with dogs. He was traumatized by this experience, became a lounge singer, transvestite, drag queen, and then gets involved with some bad people. That leads to a violent third act. And the story is kind of told in the present, and then we're seeing things in the past. If that's not a checklist of everything you need to have in a modern film, let's see, we got transvestite, okay, check. Abuse, check. Wheelchair, and he's got these sort of crutches on it. He can kind of barely walk with these crutches on his legs. Horribly tragic story. His dogs, he's kind of befriended all these dogs that protect him. I don't know what this movie is trying to be. It's also told through the eyes of the police detective, Evelyn, played by Jojo T. Gibbs, who is asking him his story in jail. They're trying to put the pieces together of why this sort of horrible, violent thing happened, which you will see in the third act. I really wanted to love this movie. And by the end, I actually was like, once it got to the third act and you kind of see the action, I'm like, oh, okay. this is kind of cool, but it just so there's so many moments where I'm just looking, going, why? What are they doing with this? They're just doing everything they possibly can for you to gain sympathy with the character. I just I wanted more out of it, and I really love this actor, and I love Luc Besson as a director. I mean, he did Fifth Element, did the Leon the Professional. He's done so many things that are unique. I think he was really challenging himself. I'm going to make a movie about a transvestite lounge singer in a wheelchair who's friends with dogs that protect him. That's the film. That's your jam. This is the best movie you've seen this year. If it's not, then you probably feel the same way I feel about it. I can't recommend it, even though I love Luc Besson. I wanted to like it, and I really didn't know anything about it. Then I saw the trailer, and that was kind of the first red flag for me. Then I saw the film, and I was, in spite of the fact that the third act kind of like brought me over, I'm like, oh, okay, now I get like this was, the third act kind of like, oh, okay, won me over. I can't 100% recommend the film. It's between a 5 and a 6 for me, and there are other better films that Luc Besson has made. So for me, DogMan is a pass. That's all I have to say. I'm sure we'll get a review on the website, and we'll go from there.
I have no idea what this story is about.
I told you the story.
I know. I still don't understand. Maybe I don't understand why. Why is this a movie?
But I told you the story, Alan. Like, what was this? You've been gored. Come on, Glenn. Get me some Alan getting gored here. Quick on the comments. We're going to go to some more reviews. 200 Watt Studio says, Chris would love to talk sometime about WXYZ Monster and Apes Week. Bill Bonds was Detroit anchor and also won in Escape the Planet of the Apes. I loved Bill Bonds. He had that coiffed hair, which was hilarious. And I always, like, when the news came on, I still remember the theme. I kind of watched the beginning, but I just always checked out. But I loved like Apes Week, all the Planet of the Apes movies. When they did Gamera Week, Godzilla Week, I was all in. Loved that stuff. Thank you, 200 Watt Studio. Very generous today. Kratos L. Statos for 5. FYI, my name is currently stuck misspelled due to a funny story that Melanie started. I assume you mean Melanie Mac. Sorry to strain your brain. I'll catch you up on the lore later. Thank you for that. And Bushin Ryu Cat coming in hot, who's a member with 10. Happy Easter spring weekend to you, Chris and Alan. R.I.P. Louis Gossett Jr. He'll always be the Sarge, an officer and a gentleman. Chris, I don't want to watch Godzilla X Kong, but only if G does something like his drop kick. He does do something like the drop kick. He kind of does like a jump. And it's like a wrestling move. Literally, there are moves. There's a move with Kong and Godzilla. It's straight up just wrestling. You remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of takes him and like brings him to the ground.
Yeah.
Godzilla. It's straight up just wrestling, fighting kaiju, if that's your thing. But whatever.
I will say the anti-gravity scene was pretty interesting.
That was weird. Yeah.
Probably my highlight.
999. I'll contribute a lot more if you guys watch The Passion, react to it, and post it online. Alan, it's all you.
I know what happens. I've read the book.
Alan, let's do a review. We'll do, what we're going to do? We're going to start, maybe because this summer is looking not great. We should do retro review. Should we start a column called Retro Review? And we will take requests of movies you'd like to see us to review that are not like, they're not new films. Could we do once a week a retro review? How about we start it? This is a good suggestion, Benjamin. Thank you. And we're going to start with Alan watching Passion of the Christ.
No, you have to watch it too. These
okay.
are. Yeah.
Okay.
If the IATSE strike happens, it's a definite we need to do this.
Yeah, we're going to do retro reviews. So put your suggestions in. We'll compile a list. And then we'll just, throughout the weeks, we'll kind of figure out which ones. It'll be easier if it's movies that I've seen. But if not, we'll go from there. Yeah. More, we got so much stuff to talk about. 200 Watt Studio said Besson's best film is the OG La Femme Nikita. Agree. So from the guy who made La Femme Nikita to this, knowing his past work, This is just a lesser work
Yeah.
than his previous films, which is why I didn't enjoy it all that much.
I bet
Okay.
money has a lot to do with it.
Okay, let's get ready for our next review. Alan, you want to know? You ready, Alan?
Yeah, I'm ready. You got to tell me which one it is.
Our next review is going to be Spaceman.
Yeah.
Currently starring Adam Sandler and Carey Mulligan, currently playing on Netflix. You know, we had a long conversation about Three Body Problem. Spaceman, if you like sci-fi, will probably get recommended to you. It is about, and this is what's weird about it. Something I have to point out that's very weird about this movie. It's like it's not American centric. There is a weird ribbon in space around Jupiter that you can see from the sky, like a bizarre astral cloud. And is it a threat to Earth? What is it? A lone spaceman played by Adam Sandler. He's Jakub Pujavka. And it's like, I don't know. I don't remember. He's Hungarian or something. And the filmmaker is actually Johann Reck. So it's all from the point of view of this like Hungarian space mission, which is already kind of weird. It starts off in outer space with Jakub talking to his wife Lenka, played by Carey Mulligan. He misses his wife. He's on a 1-year mission, 6 months to get to the ribbon outside of Jupiter, and 6 months traveling back. He's going a little mad. He has a sameness to his life. Not everything works on the ship perfectly. He speaks to mission control and he speaks to his wife, but he's sort of disconnected from her. He's focused on the mission. Suddenly, without any explanation, a big spider about the size of a human suddenly appears on the ship. Another alien race that we discover who's actually fleeing from a race that's tried to wipe them out. The voice acting is done by Paul Dano. He's very good in this. And eventually the spider is named Hannes by Jakub. And they form a friendship. Initially, of course, Jakub is fearful of Hannes, this giant spider on the ship. And I don't recommend doing what I did, which is I watched the movie right before I went to bed with all the lights off about a giant spider. I think arachnophobia is real. Talk to any woman. Do you ever hear a woman say, I love spiders? No. So yeah. And I know that's going to sound sexist, but prove me wrong, right? That's a pretty common fear, and there's nothing wrong with that. It ends up being that his wife, who is also pregnant, wants to leave her husband, who is nearly complete with his mission with only 6 months to return. And then Isabella Rossellini, who plays Commissioner Tuma, has to convince Lenka, like, please talk to your husband. Don't divorce him and leave him just because he's in outer space on this mission, which doesn't make a lot of sense. You'd think that if she was pregnant. So you see, like the movie, you'll see Hannes, the spider, kind of access memories, trying to heal Adam Sandler's character's heart and get him to look at the relationship through the eyes of his wife so he can see his faults as a man and come to some understanding of why she is so distraught in their relationship. The stuff with the spider the spider is very well done in terms of the effects. Paul Dano is the voice. He has this very calm voice talking to Jakub, and he's not a threat, and he likes this hazelnut chocolate stuff. It's weird, and it's also bizarrely endearing. I do happen to like Adam Sandler when he does serious roles. He's very underestimated. So I have to say that I enjoyed this film. I like the idea of a solitary astronaut in space and kind of what they would suffer psychologically and also in their relationships with people on Earth. So I'm giving it a mild recommendation, but if you have a fear of spiders, beware. So mild recommendation, meaning probably like, 6 out of 10.
Mhm.
There you go. Let's see if there's some comments about this, and then we're gonna have to move on. Krizik for 5 says, Chris, please combine that retro review idea with Gary's advice for making video content. You will get mad views and subs. Video games. Yes, they're a game. We're gonna talk about doing video games at some point. But yeah, retro review is something we should do. I already got one. Chinatown. Saw it in a theater on Wednesday and Thursday. It's one of my top 5 favorite films. It's perfect in my opinion. Thank you, Nicholas Vargo, for 5. $4.99, that is. All right, moving on. Let's talk about this film. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Wait, I have to bring up the thing. We're gonna do this. It's I want to talk about this documentary. All right. Okay. Hey, Alan.
Yes.
When there's dead air and I'm trying to do something, you know what you could do?
Yeah, we could talk about it. I mean, because I was going to ask you, is that movie Spaceman about his marriage? That's the
Partially, yes.
okay.
It's
just about living in isolation and then having marital issues.
I think I explained it. Anyways,
I didn't.
Alan, if you ever sense that there's dead air and I'm trying to do something technically, you can fill it by asking questions. You can say, here's some retro movies I'd like to review. There's like 9 topics off the top of my head I could think of, but it's too late.
Because it just seems like you have everything under control.
I don't. I need your help.
All right.
You haven't inged me.
We got to say something worth inging.
Yeah, I got to say something worth inging.
But I'm just saying the title alone has me intrigued.
Well, of course, it has you intrigued. Carol Doda, Topless at the Condor is a documentary set in San Francisco in 1964. A woman named Carol Doda. She was, I don't know if she was the first, but it says the first dancer to go topless, and in the process became a tourist attraction, second only to the Golden Gate Bridge. This documentary is an archival documentary. It takes place in San Francisco in the 60s about this topless dancer that became internationally famous. She was on talk shows. She innovated with her topless dancing. The Condor was this classic bar in the 60s where politicians attended, rock stars, celebrities. There was a vibe to the Condor. If you were there, you were someone of note. And Carol Doda came out and did this burlesque topless dance, eventually moving to bottomless. They have archival interviews with Carol Doda. There are interviews with other dancers now in the present day, other people. There was a lot of could have been some crime syndicate luminaries that also were at the Condor, and it tracks this landmark made famous by Carol Doda and her career. It was also at a time with, quote, this is going to sound like feminism. This was first wave feminism was on the rise, and first wave feminism was like, hey, women should be able to wear mini skirts. We should be able to go topless if we want. Alan, do you object to first wave feminism as I described?
Not first wave feminism. I object to second and third.
But this was sort of a tracking, and they do get into the feminist angle of this, and that women should be able to do this, should be able to be topless as a way to make a living at this place. It's an incredibly, I love that these documentaries that actually are about sexuality, and they're very smart, but they're showing a lot of nudity. You know what I mean? It's like sort of the elitist, high-minded, like, yes, I'm going to see this documentary. Sometimes when you say documentary to people, it's an archival documentary. It sounds like eat your broccoli or eat your vegetables, while it's like about a woman who gets topless at this club and becomes a cultural icon at the time. It's a very good documentary. I am personally a fan of archival documentaries, to take like hundreds of hours of footage, devolve it down to a great story. The filmmaker, the directors, Marlo McKenzie and Jonathan Parker, also writer-directors of this, did a fantastic job telling the story. You hear the story of Carol's life Obviously, there are a lot of ups and downs there. It's got like 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm recommending it, and not just I'm recommending this. Carol Doda Topless at the Condor, not just for the nudity. I'm also recommending it for a story about an amazing woman who was an innovator of her time. And there you go. Let's go to the comments. Let's go through, see if there's any comments here. Bill S. Preston Esquire says first wave feminism was about the right to vote, own property, stuff like that. This talks about specifically first wave feminism and goes into a lot of like what was achieved in that era.
Does it comment then into second and third wave, or does it?
It doesn't really deal with second and third wave, but it has modern interviews mixed with older ones. Kratos L. Statos for 20 says, for retro reviews, have you covered any Ghibli films? Not retro, but we have covered some Ghibli films.
Yeah.
We did a deep dive on Boy and the Heron 4 months ago with Gall on Shaka Zulu's channel. Shout out to them. Another fun story I owe you, how meeting you led to me hiring someone. That's great.
Yeah. We reviewed My Neighbor Totoro, and I got thoroughly lashed for that one.
Bush and Ryu Cat for 2 says, what does the space spider eat on the ship? They never say the words, but I think it's Nutella. Like, I think it's Nutella, but it's not. I think they probably didn't get the rights to Nutella. It's basically Nutella. Mm-hmm. Benjamin for 499 says, this movie sounds like Cartman came up with it as awesome. Adam Sandler like meets a lady and sees a spider. I like Adam Sandler as a serious actor. Thomas Pickett for 5 says, Adam Sandler only did this movie because he thought he was going to get a free vacation to Jupiter. That's possible. So there you go. Well, thank you. Hey, it's time that we pivot for just a moment. We're going to pivot because we have a very special guest joining us. We have a very special guest joining us, but a shout out. Not yet, Alan. Okay. We're going to show a video. We're just going to do a little like, yeah, we're going to, I'm just looking at what we have.
All right.
So, we have a very special guest joining us. I'm excited that she's going to join us here, but just a quick reminder, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. And one last thing.
This is Film Threat!
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but the woman behind you is your face as well.
Wait.
As your face.
Oh, it is really too? Okay. We can't watch that again. That's crazy. Well, we have a very special guest joining us on the show today in celebration of our Easter weekend. And
yeah, happy Easter, everybody, by the way.
Yes, happy Easter, everybody. And I have it ready here. Diane, wait, hang on a sec. Diane Foster is here joining us. Her film, which is called
Easter Bloody Easter.
Easter Bloody Easter. I knew it was Easter Bloody Easter. I was waiting for Alan to put up the banner.
Well, I was
Easter
moving
Bloody
the
Easter.
boxes around trying to get the.
Yeah.
I had it up
Easter
early.
Bloody Easter. Diane, congratulations on the film. And we just talked about the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2, which is, it did so well at the box office. They already announced Part 3 and all this. I actually personally like holiday horror themed movies. This immediately got my attention. Tell us what led to Easter Bloody Easter.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you guys and be here today. There was a series of events that led to Easter Bloody Easter. Allison, who wrote the film, and Kelly, who's in the film with me, who plays Carol, we had done a play together in Beverly Hills, and then we took that play to San Francisco, and we really loved working together. And then the pandemic hit, and we were like, well, we can't do live theater. And because my background is in film and I did a lot of producing over the years, I said, let's make a film. So Allison said, okay, we like the characters. We like it taking place in Texas, that kind of thing. And then she came back to us a couple weeks later and was like, I wrote a film and it has demon bunnies and a giant jackalope and it takes place at Easter. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. So that's really how it came to be. And once we got into it, we were just like full pistons going from the moment we did it.
Well, the trailer is on the Film Threat trailers channel, so check that out. But we've got the poster up here. I love this poster. Hoppy hunting is the tagline. I think it's hilarious. And then you've got some that's a poster. I'm immediately interested. Now, in terms of like, how do you take which is a beloved children's holiday involving candy and hunting eggs? How do you turn that into a horror film?
I think that's what's so great about it is I love the juxtaposition between something really nice and furry and fuzzy like a little bunny and turning it into a demon. And I think that's what makes it so great together is that you have this kindness and then the chaos. And that to me is something I really wanted to explore. The idea of having everybody in their Easter best and pastels and then just covered in blood. I was like, I am so there for that. And I knew genre fans would want that too, because we don't really have a lot of Easter themed films. And we knew that we were really on our own lane with that. There aren't a lot of comedy horrors with it. So we just thought, why the heck not? Let's pour some blood on pastels and get some demon bunnies in here.
Heck yeah. And post your comments and questions here so that we can we'll get right into it. So Diane, like in terms of like the makeup effects, can you tell us about like how you approach the makeup effects? Were there budget challenges? How did you do? I assume based on the trailer, there's some gore.
Yeah, for sure. And we definitely had budget limitations. I mean, we're an independent film, but I always wanted to do practical effects and in-camera effects. I come from that world of watching that kind of stuff growing up. I love slashers. So I always wanted to do it in camera, not do it after the fact. So we had incredible people, Alexandra Baelish, Ashley Stansberry, Lydia Morales. We had an incredible female team actually doing all the special effects. And they created each one of those kills. We just kept pouring blood. And it's funny because every day when we were on set, we would kind of get together and huddle prior. Like I really felt like a football coach. I was like, okay, we're going to go out there and do this today. And I just kept saying to everyone, we need more blood. And that was sort of our mantra throughout the whole film. So it was really fun to do. But yeah, we did have, we had to sort of be creative around that because we didn't have a huge budget. And I just wanted to make sure that everything that we were seeing in camera, that really this film was made for the fans of the genre. I'm a fan of the genre, so I knew that audiences would love it, and I wanted to really give that to them.
And we've got a bunch of questions in the chat, but before we get to those, were there any challenges with the jackalope? And as a jackalope, I love there's a bar in Austin, Texas called the Jackalope that when you enter in the lobby, there is a giant jackalope that's like, it's like a photo op and you can kind of get on top of the jackalope. It's huge. And that bar is one of my favorite bars. Was there anything that just made you decide not just going to be an Easter bunny, it's going to be a jackalope?
Yeah, that's really cool. I've never been there actually, and people have sent me photos of it, but I will definitely get there and ride that jackalope. I think, again, Allison is such a quirky person in general, and she's a very funny person. And I think the idea really came from the idea of not just making it the Easter bunny, like what else happens, especially in Texas. And, a jackalope is very Texas. So we thought, wow, this would be a really great opportunity to explore a giant jackalope because we really don't see him in movies very often. And we were just done with the jackalope discrimination. We were like, we need to give this guy an opportunity.
Our reviewer, our reviewer, Bobby Lapierre, reviewed the film for us, and he talked a lot about the comedy in it, that there's a lot of comedy in it. And what was kind of the background, what is Allison's background and what was her sensibility in bringing the comedy into the story?
Yeah, we always wanted to make a comedy. I mean, again, I think when you're talking about demon bunnies and giant jackalopes, you're going to lend itself to comedy. And this film does not take itself seriously. This film knows exactly what it is. It's very self-aware. And I think that's what makes it funny. So, we had done a lot of work together in comedy prior, just doing, different projects together. And again, she just has like that very quirky personality. And we really wanted to make something that was campy and fun, and that people could just go away for an hour and a half and have a really good time over, every single spring. Like, watch it with your families and just have a really good time. So that's really where that inspiration came from. And, working with everybody and creating this was such a joy. And the other thing I wanted to say about the jackalope was when we were figuring that out, he had to be a physical actor. So Jamie Klein, who plays him in the movie, he plays the physical jackalope, and then Miles Cooper does the voice of the character. So we needed to make sure we had somebody who could run, jump, hop, that kind of stuff with this really, heavy outfit on. And when he's in that, I mean, he's almost 8 feet tall. So it's pretty crazy that, he had to do that. We also shot it in the summer in Los Angeles, and it was hot as hell. So, we kept ice packs for him, and we kept, it was sort of like that Mickey Mouse thing where we had to give him 20 minutes on and then like, okay, Mickey's got to go back and take a break.
We've got over 600 people watching us live on YouTube, a couple hundred more on Rumble. Shout out to our Rumble folks. Post your questions and comments here, and our chat has questions for you.
Awesome. Hi, everybody.
So let's go. First question here from Solomon Thornton says, greetings, Madam Diane. Any advice for beginning filmmakers?
Oh, I love that. Yes. You know what? Make your film. If you have a dream that you want to do this, just do it. Don't allow anybody else to stand in your way. You're going to hear no a lot. Keep going. If you believe in it, then that's all that matters. You have to find the team that's going to be willing to go there with you, and just keep going. Keep going. Don't let anything get in your way.
And shout out to Solomon. He generally asks the same question every time. It's a great question, and it's really important because our audience, there's a bunch of people in our audience that are aspiring filmmakers, and I tell them, the only difference between you and someone who's made a film is the person who made a film just decided to do it and to put all their efforts into it. And I, when I become obsessive about a project, I'll even get like a mug made with the name of the project. So every day when I look at my coffee, I'm like, I got to work on that thing. That's my weird. It's a weird advice. It's like a positive affirmation, like a Post-it note that says something positive.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but the fact of the matter is that's really what it is. It's about the belief in yourself and actually just staying with it and going for it. Because if you never do it, never up, never in. So you got to just go for it.
Yeah. And then, it's like that constant reminder in a positive way. So here we go. Benjamin for 999 asks, is Easter Bloody Easter anti-Christian or just a parody of egg hunting?
Yeah, we are definitely not anti-Christian. There's no, big things in the film we're not making any statements. This is a film that we just want people to have a good time with. I think the Easter holiday is something that a lot of people do, whether or not you're religious or not. You're going to find yourself maybe at an egg hunt, or you're going to get together with family. So we want you to be able to watch something with all those people when you do it. So enjoy it. It's a really great time. And again, we're not making any statements. We just other than those housewife church ladies, we all know those ladies out there.
The movie just seems like it's more making fun of the holiday as it's been commercialized. You know what
Definitely.
I mean? There are no chocolate eggs or bunnies in the Bible that I can recall. So from Rumble, Caveat Ties supporter question, how did you go about gathering people for building set and creating effects and such? So how do you put together that team?
I love that. Because it's so important. Every film is a team effort. It's like playing a sport. You cannot do it alone. You really do need those people. And we really searched high and low while we were in the process. There was about a year while we were meeting people, talking to everyone who wanted to be a part of the film based on the script. We had incredible set designers. I will say that 95% of my crew was female, which we just received the reframe stamp, from Women in Film. And that means a lot because we don't have enough female filmmakers and we don't have enough females in leadership positions. So we had females in those positions. Haley Coleman-Pogge was one of our set designers, and Wah Depp. She was incredible, just creating the life of Wahlberg. And I wanted to really make sure that the audience felt like they were in this town with these people, that we weren't just with our lead characters, that we were getting to know the townspeople as well. And they really did such a great job creating Texas here.
That's great. It really is about like, and look, as far as I'm concerned, get all the advantages you possibly can. I don't care whether it's tax breaks or whatever, take them.
Absolutely.
And from the Film Threat review I was showing, actually, we will link the review in the description of this video. But this is a quote from the review by Bobby Lapierre. Says, in the pantheon of Easter horror films, this is a good one to rewatch every spring. Easter Bloody Easter finds the proper groove to become a camp classic. And Bobby, by the way, when we get a lot, he reviews a lot of horror. So to get love from Bobby, I know the movies where he has he's gotten maybe he did not like, and I'll just say he's a couple things got him in trouble. But when he likes something, it always gets my attention. I'm a fan of like a movie that kind of knows what it is, right?
Yeah, totally. No, we really appreciate that so much. And, we love it. Again, we made this film for audiences that love this type of film. So, we know that we're going to find people certainly who, may not like it and that's not their cup of tea. And that's okay because we know the fans who do love it and will love it and watch it every single year. So we really appreciate, thank you, Bobby, for that. That was awesome.
Awesome. More comments here. From Brock Samsonite says, what influences your decision as an indie filmmaker to decide whether to aim for a theatrical run or shoot straight for a streaming release? Interesting.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think the distribution aspect of this film was very interesting because we had a lot of companies that wanted to take the film out, especially because, again, we're sort of in our own lane. They knew this was like a very great sales film, that people would like it. It's a hot button title. So, I think at the end of the day, this is the type of film that should live in people's televisions, their phones, their iPads, so that they can watch it over and over again. And I feel like right now we're sort of in a weird situation with movie theaters. I love going to see movies at movie theaters, but I think with this type of film, we knew that it would be better on streaming and that, having it in people's households was really the way to go. And I think at the end of the day, film is an exhibition art. So if you're going to get your film out there, you want to have as many eyeballs on it as possible. So I think you got to look at the type of film that you have and really just get clear about who is my audience and where is my audience going to watch this movie. And that's really where we decided that.
That's really key. That's I just think that's key, is just you're making a movie for an audience. Always keep them in mind.
Yeah.
So we've got more comments here from Rumble 8LS24. Was there anything you weren't able to secure for the film, be it a setting, a song, or an actor? I think when you're an indie filmmaker, there's always something you want to do that you're like, well, if we had the money, we could get the rights to that Aerosmith song. I don't know why that popped in my head.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah,
what
I mean,
Like,
I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think we were totally aware of what we had and what we were going into it. I will say that originally some of the script Allison had written that basically the bunnies destroyed the town almost in like a World War Z type way. And I was like, Allison, like, we do not have that budget to have like Steven Spielberg airplane in the middle of Wahlberg. So
Right.
As fun as that would have been, and to have, seeing maybe houses destroyed and that kind of stuff, we really had to just get very clear about what our budget level was, and do the most that we could and have the creative conversations about, well, how can we make this something that's really special and that fans are going to love? But we don't, we're not going to put an airplane in the middle of Wahlberg, Texas.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to be super specific. Benjamin for 999 says, can you return regularly so you can add some femininity to Film Threat? This episode rules.
I love that. Yes, I will come back anytime, you guys.
We'll make more movies. Make a lot more movies.
Make more.
Yeah.
Yes. What other holidays are there? And then another super chat here from Matthew Hammond for $4.99. How did you make the transition from in front of the camera to behind the camera? What misconception did you have of people behind the camera? From Matthew Hammond. Great question.
That is so awesome. I think that, I started out as an actor. I did a lot of musical theater growing up, and then I got to film, and I actually was producing film like very right away. My first film ever that I produced was called Iowa. It had Rosanna Arquette in it. We went to Tribeca Film Festival. I starred in it and produced it. And yeah, that kind of got to get me running on the producing aspect of it. And I really love producing. It fits my personality. I love putting teams of people together. I love watching people shine and do their stories and tell their stories. So I think this was very interesting because it was the first time for me that I was really ready to get into the director's seat. Having all that years of experience producing, I really watched directors and what they went through, and I just felt that I was ready to do it, and this was a story that I could do that. And really, I give a lot of credit to Allison because she said to me, "I want you to direct this," and that meant the world to me. It gave me the self-confidence to say, I can do this, I can lead this team, and I'm ready to do it. So I think the only misconception that you have when you're doing this kind of thing is that that you somehow are, that the director or something is, secondary from the cast and crew or whatever. And that's so not true. I think the best kind of films are made when the director is a part of the team and realizes how much they need their team. And they listen to their team. I'm a very collaborative director, so I want to hear what my cinematographer has to say. I want to hear what my editor has to say. And they're willing to go there with me and say, can we try this? And, does this work? Maybe it doesn't, but let's just try it and see what happens. And I think the best films are made from that collaborative space. Nice.
We still have the chat is just on fire. Brock Samsonite asks, also, is there any chance for a crossover into the Poonaverse? We heard about the other week, maybe the Avenger-style horror throwdown. This is a group of filmmakers from the UK that are doing a lot of the Winnie the Pooh and Disney characters. Now that they've come into the public domain, they're doing horror films. I guess you could talk to them. They're actually in LA at screenings around Los Angeles right now. They're actually doing appearances and Q&As. You should go meet them.
I would love to meet them. Yeah, tell me how to do that. I'm happy to.
Just look up the Winnie the Pooh. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out. They were at Universal City Walk. So yeah, let's see. People are asking. Chadman asks, where can I watch this in the UK? And then All Twisted Up says theatrical release, streaming, VOD. How can people see the film?
Yes, absolutely. So it's streaming on every VOD platform. So you can watch it on YouTube Movies, Google Play, Microsoft, Vudu, what else? iTunes, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. So we do have a partnership with a company in the UK called the Movie Partnership, and they're putting our movie out there as well. So just check them out. We're also in Latin America right now, and we plan on going all over the world. So definitely check us out. I mean, with the streaming especially, it really helps for you guys to watch it. Please rate it, send us a review. We love hearing from you. And we definitely want to hear about, how you enjoy it. And it means a lot to us as indie filmmakers for sure.
So it's VOD on Apple TV, Amazon, YouTube, Vudu, all the things. And then my understanding is that you sing a song from the soundtrack, Honey Bunny, kind of like Santa Baby, and it's on Spotify. Is that true?
Yeah, it's on Spotify and Apple Music and anywhere that you listen to music. It's called Honey Bunny. And we also have a music video for it. So check out Wally Bird Productions YouTube because you can see the music video. It's very a la Marilyn. And I wanted to create a Santa Baby for Easter. And so Honey Bunny is my contribution.
And then a comment here, Bush and Ryu Cat says, Diane, are you seriously trying to scare the soul out of me with that poster? Seriously, best of luck.
Oh, thank you so much.
And from Rumble, were there any challenges shooting in and around LA while setting the film in Texas?
I love that. Yes, a little bit. We did decide that we were going to shoot in the Sun Valley area. We shot on a private ranch there. And in that area in LA, there aren't a lot of like palm trees and that sort of LA look. So we needed it to look very ranch style. We were lucky to get this private ranch. They were very kind to have us. But we just, we really made sure that, we brought in the materials that looked at all the hay. That was like stuff that we brought in to the set. And it really wasn't that challenging, to be honest. There are parts of Texas that look a lot like California. So for us, that really, lent itself to the whole story and the idea.
Gotcha. And I just got to say, congratulations. Thank you so much for appearing on the show. The timing could not be better for Easter, Bloody Easter. So we appreciate it. Let's see here. I had in the someone unstarted. Your production company is at Wally Bird Productions, and then the comment that was I had
it was the Instagram. Let me.
Oh, Instagram. Yeah, please say hi to me on Instagram. I respond to every DM and any comments. So, please reach out to me. I love talking to you and hearing about, how you felt about the film. If any filmmakers have questions, I'm always happy to talk about it, to anyone. So please reach out and say hi.
And I don't know how this happened, but during the interview, someone removed the banner and I don't know why. So now I just put the banner back up. Alan will have a talk. I think Alan hit something on accident, but we appreciate it.
Of course, Diane, it was me. It had to have been me.
It was probably whatever. Who cares? Hey, congratulations, Diane. The timing couldn't be better. Check out Easter Bloody Easter on all the platforms. Congratulations. Please come back again. I have to talk about your next project. And also, one final thing. You were a Scream Queen. Can you tell us a little bit about your Scream Queen life previous to sitting in the director's chair?
Oh, you're so sweet and kind. Yes. So I did a lot of different horror films. Prior to Easter Bloody Easter, I did a film called The Orphan Killer that was banned in Germany and Australia. And I am severely tortured in that film. So if you'd like to see that, please check it out. And then I did Glenn Danzig's Veronica, which was his first, his directorial debut. And I met Glenn doing the music video for Last Ride. I was the girl in his video. And Glenn and I are both from New Jersey. So, he's just the sweetest. I love working with Danzig, and that's sort of like where my journey started as a Scream Queen. So very bloody and kind of crazy, and then I went toward the comedy aspect because that's really my personality. I'm a full-blown nerd. I love being goofy. So that just makes me feel good doing comedy and horror at the same time.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Diane, thank you so much for appearing on the show today. Have a great holiday Easter weekend.
Yes.
And
happy Easter, Bloody Easter.
Happy Easter, Bloody Easter.
Yeah.
Awesome. And thanks for all the comments and the questions. I love it. It was so awesome being here with you guys. And thanks to everybody for supporting. We really appreciate it.
Awesome.
And this is a great post-Easter dinner viewing. So
yes. Not during dinner, but also you have a YouTube channel, Wally Bird Productions. So look up on YouTube, your YouTube channel. Diane, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Bye. Oh, that was great. That was awesome. She was awesome.
That was awesome.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's great. See, now what you could do is just take that banner. I don't know. That banner disappeared in the middle of the interview.
Yeah, I don't know. Someone hit something.
I get whatever. Who cares? We're just having fun. But I have a suspicion the banner below her was covering something. Not going to say anything more than that. I do have one last thing that I want to discuss, which is this. I think Rotten Tomatoes kind of has a mixed reputation. There's always this battle between, there's a battle on Rotten Tomatoes between, the critics are lame, or this is whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Fine. I actually personally always prefer the audience score. The audience score seems more honest. I do like, though, that the critic score will often highlight a movie that may not get as much attention. But Rotten Tomatoes just did a little article here, all Godzilla movies ranked. And what's weird is how much I agree with it. I'm kind of shocked. We're going to go through it really quickly.
By the way, how long ago was the premiere of Godzilla? How many years was that?
Well, it was 1954, so that's what?
Yeah.
70
So the original
years.
Godzilla movie premiered 69 years ago today.
Wait, could you say that again?
The
Alan?
original Godzilla movie premiered 69 years ago today.
Got to get that in, don't you? Here's all the Godzilla movies ranked according to Rotten Tomatoes. I assume they're going by critic score. Again, my preference, but both should be represented. I think it's okay. I love diversity of opinion. Let's hear it. Give me, and the critic score can sometimes work for a movie that's like a little thing that no one's heard of, not a lot of audience has seen. But when it comes to mainstream, I tend to go with what the audience thinks more and more. But let's go. We're gonna see how much we agree with this here. Interesting. So I'm looking up Carol Doda Topless at the Condor, and an ad pops up. Wouldn't you know it? It's actually in theaters in select cities. So let's go. Number one at 98% is Godzilla -1.
Well, there you go.
No one should be shocked by that. Number two, and I mean, it is the best Godzilla movie ever made.
Mhm.
It's got all the
100%.
pathos, human characters you care about, the best special effects for any Godzilla movie, including US and Japanese versions. Godzilla -1, 98%. Fantastic. The original 1954 Godzilla is at 94%. At number two, I actually would agree with that. Now you can debate about the Raymond Burr version, the original without Raymond Burr. Alan, any thoughts on this?
I mean, are the differences between the two that vast? I don't think so.
They're vast. They are
Are
vast.
they? Okay.
The original without Raymond Burr. The original without Raymond Burr is better. So there you go. Shin Godzilla. Kind of am agreeing on this one. Shin Godzilla, the 2016 film, Japanese, 86%. That's number 3. At number 4, Godzilla versus Kong. This is the US version from 2021. 76%. Also at 76% at number 5 is the Godzilla movie directed by Gareth Edwards, 2014 Godzilla at number 5. Number 6, Godzilla versus Destroya, 1995. That's 100%. See, I just think that needs more reviews. There's no way Godzilla versus Destroya is 100%.
I bet it has 3 reviews on it.
Now, some movies that I loved, but I feel like the scale, you kind of have to almost change your scale. Mothra versus Godzilla 1964 is at 92% at number 7. Someone actually editorialized the rankings. I'm not disagreeing with most of this. I think like the top 3 I agree with. The others, debatable. Number 8, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 1974 version. Godzilla King of the Monsters 1956 stands at number 9, 83%. And Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, the 1993 version, is at number 10 at 83%. I want to go through some of these, though. That's number 10, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Destroy All Monsters, 1968. This is one of my, when I was a kid, this was one of my all-time favorites, was Destroy All Monsters. Why? All of the monsters were in this movie. So up until like Destroy All Monsters, whenever that was on, it's like, it's the Avengers Endgame of Toho Godzilla movies, because Ghidorah's in it, Rodan, Mothra, Minya, Gojira, so many others. Gorosaurus. There's a monster called Gorosaurus. Okay. Many of the kaiju. Destroy All Monsters at number 11. 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Godzilla Tokyo SOS 2003, 80%. I recently saw that in a theater last year. They brought it in re-release, and it was very good. Godzilla and Mothra, The Battle for Earth, number 13. That's the 1992 version. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster from 1965, 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, number 14 on the list. Godzilla Planet of the Monsters stands from 2017, stands at number 15. That's an anime. So there you go. Godzilla versus Biollante, number 16, 71%. Godzilla versus Gigan, not a favorite of mine. Feel like that's when it was getting a little ridiculous for me. 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, number 17 on this list. One of my favorites is now I haven't seen yet. One of my favorites I haven't seen. This is a little taste of retro reviews, folks. Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters, All Out Attack from 2001 at number 18, 65%. Now, when I was a kid, this was called Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. They've since changed it to Godzilla versus Hedorah from 1971. I saw that movie in a theater when I was a wee child and loved it. Godzilla Raids Again from 1955. 64% Rotten Tomatoes, number 20 on this list. Still haven't seen one of my all-time favorites, Son of Godzilla, 1967. 63% Rotten Tomatoes, number 21. Godzilla versus Mega. I could go through all of these. We'll put the link in the description. I want to find my favorites. The Godzilla 2000 is sort of earned the number 25 spot. I think it could be probably lower. I don't know.
Probably.
No, excuse me. That's the Japanese one. My apologies. Got it mixed up with a different one. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, number 27. No. I love that from the 1966 Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I think you almost need to like rank them by eras.
Well, you know what I mean. I'll give you a little bit of insight on this, but I'm looking at some of these titles. The critics' reviews they're ranging from 8 to 11 reviews, while the audience scores are ranking past 5,000 ratings.
Yeah, so that's just listen to the audience. Don't listen to the critics.
Yeah. So most of his lists, I think they're doing kind of a compilation of the two reviews, and so that's what you're getting here. But yeah, these films, at least from a critic's side, there's not a lot of critic reviews for these films.
Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, 1991, number 28, 56%. The original 1962 King Kong versus Godzilla, 52% Rotten Tomatoes, number 29 on this list. Final Wars, Godzilla Final Wars, number 30. And one of my favorite from when I was a kid, from 1965, Invasion of the Astro Monster, sometimes called Monster Zero or Godzilla versus Monster Zero. This is with Glenn. Nick Adams is in this film. Akira Takarada. Love this movie. Ishiro Honda directed this. It had those the denizens, the inhabitants of Planet X, kind of dressed in these punk rock outfits. They have like Devo punk rock sunglasses. I loved Invasion of the Astro Monster. It's been under many different titles. It's number 31 on this list, only 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I call BS. One of my all-time favorites from the production design. The score is Chef's Kiss. Get the Criterion Edition version. It even says critics consensus, no consensus yet. But that movie is fantastic.
Are you talking about Invasion of Astro Monster?
Invasion of the Astro Monster. And it stars Kumi Mizuno. Look her up. Kumi Mizuno is did I get that right? No. I'm got to get this correct here, folks. If we're going to discuss
I'll say this. That one 8 reviews, that gives it the 50% remark there, but audience is at 69 or 63.
Wait. What did you say, Ellen? Accidentally?
The audience is at 69. Oops, no, I meant 63.
Oh my God. And also many of the Godzilla films starred a woman. This is from Gojipedia. I'll put the link in the description. Kumi Mizuno is an actress. She was born in 1937. She starred in many of she was in War of the Gargantuas. She's in Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. She's in Attack of the Mushroom People. This is Kumi Mizuno. I had such a crush on Kumi Mizuno when I was a kid. This is her in the wow. I had such a crush on Kumi Mizuno when I was a kid. That outfit that she wore. What am I doing here? Make it so you can see it. Someone should make a documentary about her. She was fantastic. But she was in Invasion. She was in Invasion of the Astro Monster, which turns out to be obviously King Ghidorah. So we'll put the link in the description. It's Godzilla.fandom.com has a wiki of everything Godzilla. We will put that link in the description, and there you go.
By the way, where did 98 Godzilla ultimately wind up?
Oh my God, let's look at that list. I'm so glad you brought that up, Alan. Thank you so much. I almost forgot. That's one of my least favorite Godzilla movies of all time.
Yes.
The 98
and Rotten Tomatoes reflects that too.
The 1998 Godzilla is at 20%, well deserved, with Matthew Broderick. No disrespect to Matthew. They're at number 37 on the list, and there's only one below it. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is at number 38. Yeah, at the very bottom, you've got from Godzilla -1 at number 1 to number 37, Godzilla 1998, the American Godzilla, which is awful, objectively awful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to your quick comments and questions. We're going to wrap it up for today. So there you go. Great interview. So, I just hope no Cadbury cream eggs were harmed filming her movie. Says JWT6577, member for 6 months. And someone is suggesting story arc welder for 2, retro review of that 1992 space movie. You won't believe it. There is a retro review on the site, if I recall correctly.
Yes, we reviewed it.
We did review it.
Or I reviewed it.
Alan reviewed it because he has seen it and I have not. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Ms. P. Coffee and Glenn Brown, our intrepid producers working behind the scenes. I also want to thank our mods, Lord Thoth and Latino Slant Polly. Shout out to Polly at the Latino Slant. And last minute super chat here, Godzilla versus Megalon featured on MST 3K Taker 610. Thank you for that. Do appreciate that. And see ya for versus, if only to witness the Asian power, says Krizik. Mixed Pea Coffee. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much all Asians except for Robert Meyer Burnett and I. We're going to be like the Nick Adams and the Russ Tamblyn of the panel, but it's all Asian YouTubers to talk about Godzilla. Alan, this weekend, you and I are going to be at WonderCon.
Yeah, I'll be there today only.
Yes. I'm going to be there. Dude, I got so much to do. I'm getting on the road in a couple hours. I'll see you there about between 3 and 4. I'll text you, Alan, when I get there.
Okay. I may be there after that, but we can talk about that later.
It's all good. It's all good. And I'm hanging out with other buddies, my buddy Aaron Sparrow, among others. Look for me at either the Hilton or the Marriott bar. I'll probably be bringing some roadies out of my fridge. What can I say? And Matthew Hammond, last minute, coming in with a super chat here for $4.99. You could do a tier lists of series in addition to retro reviews. Great idea. I want to talk about Johnny Sacco and his giant robot. Love to talk about that. Alan, aside from WonderCon, you and I hanging out tonight, and I'll be there Saturday late afternoon through the evening because that's when the fun begins. Alan, what else you got coming up?
Let's see. I'll be at the National Comedy Theater this Saturday at 7:30 tomorrow. And if I can clear out my Easter schedule, I may be there on Sunday, but who knows?
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. And wait a second. I don't really know Alan's opinion on things until we do the show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you spill everything on the nooner. So.
Well, I'm sick of getting inged. Can Alan get gored as far as I'm concerned? All right, Alan. Hey, I'll see you in a few hours.
Yep. Bring that special thing.
You know what I'm bringing to Alan, if you guys all want to know? I'm bringing his Dune popcorn bucket. I am going to, at WonderCon, walk up to Alan and hand it to him. And he's going to have to carry it the whole time.
Yes.
I'm going to make him do that.
Okay.
One last thing, Alan. What did you have to tell me? What did you have to tell me the last thing?
Oh, yeah. Happy Easter, and you're a great host.
No.
What?
The last thing.
What was the? I have no idea what you're talking about. Bring that special thing.
Alan.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I tee you up to have a great like end of the show.
Oh,
This
that's
is why. What do you say at the end of the show?
Let's get out of here.